Hello, this is Mrs. Boots, and this is our lesson on factoring perfect cubes. So first, let's explore what are some numbers that are perfect cubes. Those are kind of tricky. Perfect squares are really easy to identify, but perfect cubes, let's go a little bit backwards and let's cube some numbers to figure out what those are. So if I take 1 and cube it, so that means 1 times 1 times 1, right? I get 1. Easy enough. What's 2 cubed? So 2 times 2 times 2. I would get 8. And for those of you who are super smart, you have probably taken your calculator and gone to y equals and plugged in x cubed so that you could get a table of the numbers. All right, so 3 cubed is 27. 4 cubed is 64. 5 cubed is 125. All right, so you know where to find it if you can't remember. You take y equals, put in x cubed, and you get the list. 6 cubed is 216. 7 cubed is 343. 8 cubed, this is the one I always forget, 512. 9 cubed is 729. 10 cubed, the 10s are always easy to remember. Just count your zeros. 3 zeros, it's cubed. Not a big deal, okay? So now let's look. There's actually a shortcut for perfect cubes. I knew you'd like that, right? You don't have to do anything fancy. So if I have a number cubed plus or minus, doesn't matter what the sign is, a number cubed, there's a shortcut to factoring it, okay? So here's the shortcut, right? We're going to take A, okay? A plus or minus B, and then it's A squared. Now I'm going to flip it. It's minus or plus, so you're going to switch that sign. It's going to be A times B, always positive, B squared, okay? So there's a little riddle we use. It's called SOAP. You're going to laugh, all right? So we do the same sign. So whatever's in my problem, I do the same thing right here. Then I have my opposite sign, and then I have always positive. Okay, always positive at the end. So it's SOAP. Same, opposite, always positive. SOAP. So we have nice, clean factoring. All right, so now we're going to identify, first step, we're going to identify what A and B are. Then we're going to plug it in. That's it. It's 2 steps. Maybe a third step, which is simplify, but we'll get there, okay? So first step is what is A and what is B? Well, A is obviously X, right? Because that's cubed. So A equals X. But what cubed gives me 729? This is where I go through my list. 729 is 9 cubed. So my B is 9. 9 is what I'm plugging into the equation, not 729. That would be hilarious. All right, so we're going to plug it in. So I have an X and a 9. I have X squared. I'm going to multiply A times B, so X times 9. So I get 9X. And then I have B squared. 9 squared is 81. Now let's do the signs, right? Same sign, so it's plus. Opposite sign, minus, always positive, plus. That's it. That is your answer. Now, some of you may be looking at this going, wait a minute, Mrs. Boots, that's a trinomial, and the leading coefficient is 1. We should factor that and get 2 binomials. Here's the cute little trick. This is not factorable. Nope. You cannot find 2 numbers to multiply to give you 81 that will add to give you 9. The lowest you can get is 18. So that is not factorable. So this is your final answer. Okay? Let's go ahead and do example 2. So 343, I'm missing a cube there. Right? I have 343. What cubed gives me 343? So go down my list. That is 7. So A is 7 with the x. All right? B, and most people, this is where they mess up. 64. Oh, that's 8, because 8 squared is 64. Do I want squares? No. We want cubes, okay? So cube, it's 4. 4 is 64 cubed. Or I'm sorry, 4 cubed is 64. Said it backwards, okay? So I have a 4. So my A is 7x, my B is 4. So now all we got to do is plug it in. First one's easy, right? It's just A with B. Super easy, okay? Now we have A squared. So I have to square the 7 and the x. So I get 49 x squared. Then A times B. What's A times B? 7 times 4 is 28 with an x, because there's an x there. And then 4 squared, 16. Okay? Now let's do the signs. What's the sign of my problem? Negative. Same sign, opposite sign, always positive. That easy, okay? We got 3 more examples. Super easy, right? 216. 216 is what? 6, okay? So A equals 6. B equals x. Wait, Mrs. Boots, they're backwards. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you put them one way or the other. Keep it in the same order. If you don't keep it in the same order, you're probably going to get your signs wrong, okay? So if A is first, if the 6 is first, you put it first. No big deal. Okay, so we do an A and a B. All right? Then we do A squared, so I need 6 squared, 36. A times B, 6x. B squared, x squared. Okay? Now do the signs. Same sign. What's the same as the problem? Negative. Opposite sign. Always positive. Now, could I rearrange this and write this as x squared plus 6x plus 36? Yes. Can I write this as x minus 6? No. It would have to be negative x plus 6. And that's where most students make their mistakes. So just keep it in this order, and you don't have to worry about accidentally getting the problem incorrect when you really did know what you were doing. Okay? So example 4. 5. Whoa, I have an x to the 4th. Oh, that's just mean. You think there's a GCF? There's got to be. They both have x's. So we're going to pull something out. I'm going to divide by 5 because I don't see 5 anywhere in this table by itself. Okay? So we're going to pull out a 5 and an x. Okay? I pull out a 5 and an x. I do get an x cubed. And 320 divided by 5 is actually 64. Well, that's cool, right? So this tells me A and B. We're going to ignore that 5x. He's going to stay out front, nice, fat, and happy. Okay, so A is x and B is, well, I got 64. 64 is 4 cubed. Okay, so B is 4, right? So now we're going to write our problem out. That 5x just comes down. It's not a big deal. He just comes down, sits out front. Okay, so I have an x and I have a 4. Then I have a squared, so I'm going to have x squared. I have a times b, 4x. B squared, 16. Okay, now let's put the signs in there and make sure we got it. Same sign, so it's a positive. Opposite sign, negative. Always positive, positive. This is my whole answer. All right? Remember to put that 5x out front. If you don't, you're going to get the problem wrong because it does count as one of the factors. Yeah, we did the same thing to you in number 5, didn't we? We had GCF in there. What gave it away? Well, 2. 2 is not one of my perfect cubes. There's one giveaway, and 7. X to the 7 should have been a giveaway. Okay? So we're going to pull out a 2. And how many x's can we pull out? I have 7 and 4. I have to pick the smaller exponent, which is 4. That's going to leave me an x cubed. And what's 54 divided by 2? 27. Okay? So now let's figure out A and B. Well, A is super easy. It's the x. So A equals x. What does B equal? Well, we haven't done 27. 27 is what? Yeah, it's 3 cubed. Okay? So now let's go through. We're going to drop down that 2x to the 4th. Don't forget about him. You might hurt his feelings. He'll go home crying. Okay? Now we have A and B. So I have an x and a 3. Leave a gap for the sign. So that was my A and B. And now I have an A squared, so that's x squared. I have A times B, 3x, and then I have B squared, which is 9. Okay, now let's go back and do our signs. First parentheses, we have same sign. So I have a plus, because that's the same in my problem. Then I have opposite sign, always positive. And that's our final answer. This is all you have to do for every single one of the perfect cubes. You check for GCF. You follow your table. Hopefully you'll have them memorized after a while, or at least recognize the numbers for what they are. Perfect cubes are actually extremely simple, super simple, and that's what makes them so much fun. I hope this helps you, and go ahead and start your practice.